Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Things Creepy with Ghostly Travels. Host Lee and Patty.
Hello, everyone.
We have a great guest lined up for tonight. Can't wait to talk to her. And who are we speaking to again?
We are speaking with Judy LaChance. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so we look forward to having her on. And real quick, there will be no show next Tuesday. We are going
Why not?
because we're going somewhere, and I forgot where we're going.
We're going somewhere tropical and beautiful.
Yes, and beautiful. White Sands.
Yes.
Yes. Aruba. I think it's Aruba. Yes.
That'd be the place.
That would be the place. We'll be there all next week. And when we come back, we will be speaking with an author, George Kellogg, and I look forward to talking to him. There is something coming up this weekend, though, right? Am I wrong or am I right? There is.
You are right.
Let me bring that on board real fast. Let me get here.
Patiently waiting.
Yeah, hold on.
Hello, Lisa. I see you over there.
All right. What is this?
Well, as you can see, it's called the Stivers Spectre Stroll. Now, Stivers School for the Arts is in Dayton, Ohio, at the beautiful address of 1313 East 5th Street. Now, they are holding a Day of the Dead celebration, and I had seen a post by one of the parents a while back about a fundraiser for her children's school. And so I reached out, hey, how can we help? Here's a little bit about us. So we will be helping with this fundraiser by being stationed at various points in this huge school. And we'll be doing just mini investigation the whole time. And they'll be taking tours of ticket holders all through, spend some time with us. There'll be students throughout the school doing skits and musical performances and telling stories, and because it is a school for the arts, so those students are either musical, or they're artists or actors, actresses, whatever their particular magnet, as they say, is.
This is going to be a fun event.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the Dayton area between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., come on out and say hi to us, support a good cause. We had the opportunity to go in there a couple weeks ago to check the building out. And wow, the place is very active. A lot of great stories about the building from when it was first built in 1908. Mm-hmm. It was what kind of building prior to the school?
It
was a shelter, a safety shelter.
At some point, it was like a bomb shelter. Mm-hmm. Also, during the Dayton floods, there were, this was a safe place because there.
Hey, Darren.
Because there are so many levels, floors, people were able to get in and escape the water. I did also find out recently that there will be an author on site whose name escapes me. I apologize, but I look forward to that. I'm a reader. I love to speak with authors of any genre. So, as always, I like to point out that our time is donated. Those ticket sales is all for the school, nothing for us. Why would we take money?
Well, something is for us to have a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have a good time. Share about Paravisions, who we are, what we do.
And go more depth with the equipment that we use in the paranormal field. And these people that are intrigued and wanting to hear more about it. That's going to be fun right there in itself.
Right. And rumor has it that one of the students is, interested in filmmaking and intends to create a documentary. So, they will be, going around the school filming for
Cool.
this documentary. And we had already been asked if they could spend some time with us. And absolutely,
I didn't know that. See, I'm learning tonight.
yes, I keep secrets sometimes.
I know. I see that. It's exciting.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that is the event this Saturday. So you can scan that QR code there to get your tickets, or you can get tickets as you walk in the door. We would love to see you. Come in and say hey to us. If you come to this and one of our next investigations where we're going to be out, maybe something for you. We'd love to see you come out to this. So any way I can get people to come out to this for a good cause for the students, let's make it happen. Okay. And is this building 4 floors and a basement? Yeah, no, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors in a basement. Yes, 5 floors in a basement. And it has a tunnel. So it is really cool. So yes, if you're in the area, stop out. This place is really cool. So I'm going to stop sharing. Our guest is here, so I'm just going to bring in no other than Judy LaChance.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
What up?
Having a good Tuesday evening. How about yourself?
About the same. Got me a new puppy, so you might hear him in the background.
Oh, what kind of dog did you get?
It's a little Pomeranian.
Oh, the little mouth. I miss my little Chihuahua.
Yappy, so I'm sure you'll hear him. I got the door shut, but
that's okay. No, and you'll hear our cats at some point because they like to bully me, and they'll be around.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we are still resisting the lure of puppies.
That's a hard resist.
It is, but the last dog that we lost about killed me, and
I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I just cannot lose another one. So
it's hard.
I know
sure.
It is hard, and I think that's selfish because I know that shelters are full, and that was always kind of my thing. Let's rescue one, let's save one, let's give one a great life. But I don't know, just losing my Harley Jane was too hard.
Yeah, that's
Darren, on your question there, the Stivers School, they do not allow investigations. We were just honored to actually get to walk through before this event we're doing with them this Saturday. So we don't even really get to investigate it other than be there. But it's for a good cause.
It's exciting for you guys.
Yeah, I like it. Where's Randy? She's down there bullying Patty.
Yeah, I got a bunch of her toys out. So for the minute, she's leaving me alone.
The best thing to do is give her catnip and knock her out. Oh, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Judy here. She's founder and lead investigator of Effigy Paranormal. She's been doing this for a long time, guys. She's been doing this since 1984.
Old.
Now that is
started as a child.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old.
Were you?
Yeah. So that is so cool. I mean, technology has so much changed from, I guess everything was analog, right? Back then.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Tape recorders and compasses and flashlights is pretty much all we had at the beginning.
And did you use like the cassette recorders?
Yep.
And the little tiny cassette recorders as well,
Yep.
the minis?
Yep.
I still have mine and I still use that.
It works really well, actually.
It does, because you get what you get.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no changing anything either. It's all virgin. There's no altering.
Absolutely. There's no filters in those.
Yep.
Well, and that's something I always share at our ghost classes when people ask me about analog and digital. I was like, in the court systems, they're not allowed to use digital recorders because people can go in there and hack it.
Yep.
They use the old cassettes, push that button, hit the record and play like I used to when my favorite song was on the radio. I'd
Right.
put it up right against the speaker. Boom.
Yep. It
Milli
recorded.
Vanilli, whatever it was.
Milli Vanilli.
Oh, God, now people are going to go, oh, God.
All right.
Always waiting for that.
Frank,
See, Darren goes Ghostbuster before Ghostbusters. Yes, she is.
Yep.
She actually was like Lorraine and Ed Warren, man. 1984. Okay, I want to ask, since 1984, do you remember one of your most intense cases back then? Was it a residential or was it a business?
It was a residential. It was actually an older house that had been built in 1910. It had some really tangible activity, which was unusual back then. Nobody knew about it, so
Yeah,
it was kind of excuse me. It was interesting for sure. And
my mom, she was born in 1948, and she goes, we grew up in ghosts stories because she's from Kentucky. They actually walked to school and home through the cemeteries, so it was common. So I would ask her, like, did Grandma and Grandpa ever say that, oh, the sound you hear in the house is just the house settling? And she goes, no. Sometimes yes, but then sometimes it would be, my grandpa would say, that tombstone in the cemetery, that's who, and he would share the story with them. Wow. And so she said it was common. And I'm like, that's not common. I tell a lot of people these days. Yeah.
There's a cemetery big cemetery right across the street with Civil War soldiers. I used to go there all the time. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is right there. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, you're using analog stuff. So that's even better. So what made you come up with your own paranormal team? What got you involved in 1984?
Well, I lived with my Nana, and I had an experience, and my mind is logical. I have to know why something happens. And I was standing on a chair with a friend of mine in my bedroom and putting up a poster on the wall, because as you do when you're 18 years old. And I felt like I was leaning against the wall. It was almost like I was a magnet. And I thought the first thing wasn't paranormal, of course. I hadn't had any experiences up to this point that I knew anyway. And make a long story short, I couldn't move. And I thought maybe my muscles had frozen. And I asked my friend to hand me a tack, and that was it. I couldn't move. And she was pulling on me, and she thought it was quite humorous at the time. And I started to panic because I don't do well in being, in enclosed spaces. And she pulled the chair out from under me, and I was literally stuck to the wall, 1.5 feet above the ground for probably 20 seconds, which at that point felt like 20 years. And she took off on me. So she was a really good friend, left me there. And I hit the ground and got up running. And that was that. I just couldn't figure out why. How does that happen? That's not normal. So that's what sparked it.
And that's what sparked it. And that's what made you want to go more depth into what, like you said, you want to know the reason.
Right. You want to know why.
Did you have an answer to that at that place?
I'm 40 years later, and I still haven't figured it out. So
that's what keeps us coming back, right? We're like, yes, I love it, and we all have our own little stories of what brought us into this, and it's just, we still, mine is, I still want to know who this little 3-foot shadow was that still follows me around. He don't follow me around like he did when my son passed away, but certain cases we do. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll see him at the foot of the bed. Same. I know it's him. I just feel that energy feel. And it's just weird. It's just random, but we all have that, and that we still keep doing what we're doing.
Isn't it funny, though, that you can feel that the energy is familiar, even if you don't see him, you know who it is.
You know who it is. You don't even have to say anything. Yep. It's just our body. There's another thing that I tell our classes is our body's the best tool. You can go out here and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on equipment, but you're going to know when to go into a place and when to leave a room.
Right. True. Absolutely.
And just like getting on a roller coaster, I remember those days. It's like, yeah, I'm pumped, I'm excited. And you see people younger than you getting on the roller coaster, then the gate opens and it's your turn to get onto the roller coaster. And you're like, oh God.
What am I doing? Yeah.
What am I doing? And then you're waiting for that momentum to build up. And they're like, well, we got to wait everybody get their seatbelts on. And it's like, okay, let me off now because
I'm not ready now. Yeah.
not ready.
I used to do, when I lived in Australia, I had a ghost tour business. And that was my one rule was if I run, you run. So, when something's around.
That's what I tell everybody. I don't run just for the hell of it. If I'm running, you better look behind me or something if you don't believe me.
Right.
Darren has a question for you. What's the toughest place to investigate?
I think that can be, it depends on what you're talking about toughest. Is you're talking about physically, you're talking about emotionally. I think that mental institutions are probably draining for me because I'm not an empath by any stretch of the imagination, but you still have that kind of connection with people that have mental illness and were mistreated at many of those facilities. So for me, personally, that's probably the hardest for me to investigate.
All of the above. And then here's another good question. What is your feeling on outdoor investigations?
I've done quite a few. A lot of people I don't do very many cemeteries, but obviously that's outdoors. So the only thing about doing it outdoors is you've got a lot of contamination that you have to make sure that you're not, you're not keeping as evidence.
Yeah, just like road noise, traffic.
Yep, dogs barking,
people. Yeah.
Yep. Moisture.
Yep, anything can cloud it for sure.
Bob says he spends too much money on equipment.
Is that possible?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Is that possible to spend too much on equipment?
I don't think so. So here's another.
Hi, Jonathan.
He said, "Hey, Judy,
how are you?"
I like popping these up for everyone. Yeah, but okay, Darren just says another.
Yeah.
It's true, fun and challenging because, even if we're doing groups of investigation, one of the first things that our teammate Jim likes to tell, because he likes to do real-time recording, is please, no whispering. And then he turns and he goes, no whispering, no whispering. He goes, because man, I still like to go over this stuff, even if it is a public thing, and see what we capture. Because he says people bring different energy to the investigation. And it's true. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
It's John. Trying to catch up here before I lose them all.
Sorry.
Yeah, I had to switch over to Facebook on my phone in order to be chatting. So my chat on my screen isn't working. Anyway.
And your friend John says he has too much equipment. Don't we all? But
he's got a lot.
It's like when I see somebody post, "Hey, got a new thing coming out." Oh, you do? Okay, very cool.
Lee's basically a hoarder, and he's a big control freak. So when I'm like, oh, let me help try and get things ready for the investigation, he's like, no, don't touch anything. I've got it all. Then later, when we're investigating, I'm like, oh, did you bring such and such? And he's like, no, I forgot that.
Right.
So,
I know. So, yeah. Hey, Cody.
That has now happened a couple times.
What's Darren saying here? Different energies changes the complexion of the. Yes, it does.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because I feel like if we go in on the same page, the ghost may not talk to us. But if we bring somebody in that's, okay, let's just say intrigued with paranormal, may have been a thrill seeker for a little bit, a spirit may have a more chance talking to them than us, because they're going to be like, let's just sit back and watch these guys with all this equipment. And this lady over here is just standing there asking all kinds of questions. And then all of a sudden she's like, hey, I just got touched. Or, hey, someone just whispered in my left ear. I'm like, what? So it changes. I mean, it's whoever it is.
I think all energy vibrates too, right? So we're all sort of
Yeah.
like, the way I look at it, we're all sort of like radios. So you've got millions of sound waves and radio waves and everything floating around right now. We can't see them, but they're there. But you tune into the radio, you hit one channel, and it's going to take one of those and filter it in. And I think that happens. I think that everybody's different energy will attract different things as well.
Totally. Because like, just like what Cody said there, when he goes in pumped up, he feels like he gets more activity. But to me, I like to go in and not know nothing. Because I want to see, okay, like you, I want to see what it really is. Okay, is it the building? Is it that door that's creeping? And if I get a voice, then okay, and I can't reenact that sound and it sounds like a voice, like maybe the door, I'm going to scratch my head and say, okay, this is where I want to sit for a few minutes. And this is what I want. I want to see who's here, because then my body's going to tell me, hey, something's here. This is where you need to be. So yeah, I guess everybody's different. But just like, I was watching one of Ghost Hunters, the last episode where Jason's son was with them just the other night. I was like watching some of the old stuff. And Steve said something that makes good sense, is that when he goes in to investigate a location, he doesn't investigate right away. He wants to get the feel of the area that he's walking, investigating, and then he'll come back. So to me, what he's getting out of that, he wants the building to talk to him. Yeah. So if they're, like they were up in that attic in this house, he was in another area, and then something was like, he already walked the room where they heard the noise, but something said, hey, come back. So I look at it, everybody's different.
Sure.
Darren just says, do you have a favorite trigger object you like to use, or do you go by what location you go to?
Personally, it goes with whatever location. I think it depends on, who you're trying to communicate with as to what trigger object they're gonna respond to a little bit better.
I'm the same way with you. I feel like, okay, if I'm talking to somebody in Civil War time, I'm going to have to make it something that they know.
Well, for example, I just got done saying I don't do a lot of cemeteries, but there is a cemetery here that Railroad Bill was an outlaw basically, and he was killed. And that's one of the only places I've ever been, cemetery wise, where we've gotten so many intelligent responses with the REM pod. So every time I go there, we'll bring them a beer or something like that to sit there. And I think it does help. It
does. Something that they're familiar with. Mm-hmm. That's what I usually do as well. We did an old school that closed down. This is years ago, and they converted it into an American Legion in the basement. And the bar was set up. So me thinking out the box, I went and bought the big tall 16-ounce cans of beer, popped them open, poured some in a little beer glass, lit some cigars, played some old country music, and oh my God, the activity just was crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger, how's it going, buddy? And it's like you say, it depends on what you're doing. And now they're making trigger objects. Anybody, you can put a REM pod by anything. If you don't know how to make a trigger object, that's your own trigger object.
Right.
Put an old dress or something beside a REM pod. Mm-hmm. Or just put somebody in there as bait and say, hey, this is where I need you to be for 15 minutes.
Right. That's fun.
That's the best part. Yeah. And we usually do that with groups. When we do public groups, we'll, where we get activity, and I'm like, okay, who wants to go back into that area with just carrying this camcorder and set it somewhere onto you and take any of this equipment with you, and we won't be far. And I never get somebody to say, hey, I'll do it. Right. It's like, no.
For a little while, yeah.
Because they've already been through that, and they've already seen some activity. So now, it's like, oh, I can't do that. No, I can't.
You usually need a little persuasion, especially when we ask for the next victim.
Right.
Yeah, when you say it that way, they're like, you crazy?
I know.
And there you go. Like Roger, we like to play old music when something that, it just depends on the time frame that whoever you're trying to talk to. Mm-hmm. I mean, if, You know, I still haven't been out west. I want to. You know, I want to go to some of the older places. If I'm going to play the old saloon music and pianos and put the whiskey out and all that good stuff.
Right.
Same here. I'm the bait. But would you talk to these people that, you know, after they do a ghost class or whatever? And I love people that come with, you know, people that are intrigued in the paranormal. They watch maybe a couple of the shows and they want to see the real equipment. So, you know, they only see it on TV. So when they come, they're like, wow, that's the REM pod, or that's the Mel. I've heard about the Mel.
Yeah.
And that's a real K2. This is so cool. And then when they get to mess around with it, and their friend that is very skeptic turns and at the end of the night, and he goes, how can I follow you on Facebook? And what's the name? And I'm like, did we turn a key there? And he goes, we sure did. Because Patty had that. We were down in London, Kentucky at Wildcat Battlefield. And it was the weekend they were doing a reenactment of the Civil War. And a family came up and wanted to check out what we were doing. So they were in full gear. And the son had a muzzle loader. And this guy, as they were right there and we were investigating, and I put some REM pods on the old trail that the soldiers took from where people walk today. He started seeing shadows coming over the other side of the hill coming to us. And he's a big guy, Harley rider, big guy. His wife's with him. And he goes, guys, we need to move. There is a group of people coming over here in the woods. I know they're not alive. And we're like, so we stop and I'm like, well, just watch. Let's see what they do. And I'm like, just think of it. We're in their camp.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so they're interested in who we are because we've got some people here as trigger objects. Like, who are they talking to? And so, you know, and then you got to get them on, you know, to calm down, to understand that they're all human, just like us.
Right.
I know it startles people. I still get startled. One of our best bloopers is in Moundsville Penitentiary.
One of my favorites.
We were in there with the taps, you know, a taps thing. Everybody's like, let's go somewhere. And we did. And we went there and we had we all split up into different little groups to investigate with each other. And Patty was with me and a couple people from Michigan. And we were up in the infirmary. That was the best. I just set down the music box facing a hallway. I set a couple of REM pods farther down. I'm coming back and standing there, and they're all beside me. And the music box goes off. And I'm like, okay, maybe that was me. I was like, if you can really do that again, I want you to make the music box go off and then the box next to it. We're waiting. Music box, then that thing is like they were holding on to the antenna, and I'm like, okay, back off. And as I was heading to the REM pod to zero it back out, we heard something hit the ground right in front of me.
Oh, wow.
And you know how when you're like, somebody pours cold water on you?
Yeah.
In the recorder, you hear me, you hear Patty, you hear all of them go, what was that? Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wanted to run, but I couldn't move.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to be all tough. We're like, I mean, what the hell was that?
Yeah, we had to say,
I know.
That audio was so much fun to listen to because it was a pure like Scooby-Doo moment. And, you know, just for me, that's half the fun of investigating sometimes is the audio review where, you know, because I'm just basically reliving. So when something really awesome happens, and that was hilarious and fun, you know, I'm like, Lee, you have got to hear this from my perspective. And of course he had his own and we were dying. It was great.
Yeah, and I shared it with the other two that was with us, and they's like, "You're not gonna put that out there, are you?" Well, because they're like, "Well, you know, if Jason gets a hold of that," and I'm like, "Oh, so you're afraid he's gonna be like, I don't want no chickens on my TV." Oh, so that was funny. Like Roger said, and this is a good point. Getting startled doesn't bother me; it's getting the creep. So walking into an abandoned building You don't know if there's homeless hanging out in there. Or,
That's the thing. The living are more scary than the dead, for sure.
yeah. And like I
Mhm.
tell people, when we're helping people, I tell them, I said, think of this: me sitting on top of a wooden fence, and I teeter to you, and I teeter to them. But in my mind, I'd rather talk to the dead than the living.
Right. Right. True.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Bob, man, they're coming in. That is
Yep.
true. That is very true. Oh, and I'm gonna put this out here because this is good. Patty said bats bother me.
Yeah.
That had a bat counter at Moundsville. It was really funny. There's three of us who are coming out of the Sugar Shack. Was it? No, it wasn't the Sugar Shack. It was the cell block that Red is in.
Yeah.
And we were coming out from that little kind of
The
stairway.
stairway. Yeah.
And I was in front. I think I was in front. No, somebody else was in front. My friend Angela was in front. The bats came flying out, and then there was three girls screaming and running everywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once I see a bat, I'm ruined for the night.
And what?
Yeah.
And what, Patty? That was at Fairfield Infirmary.
It was.
Yeah, that was funny. And this is funny. Hi, Sydney.
I
I got
gotta
attacked by a chicken.
No, that's scary.
I have not heard that one before.
That's a new one for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's hilarious. Oh wait, now they're all coming in.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, look at Bob. He's like going detail there.
The flying kind, the
Yeah.
little rodents that everyone thinks are very cute. Like that's
Spiders
great.
are a big
Just
note
need
for
to
me.
stay away from me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Roger. No spiders. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the spiders either.
Mm-mm.
I don't care much. Well, I take it back. We were in with Bob and Denise. Bob's the one that says what kind of bats. We were in Indiana, and we were in the Speakeasy building, and right next to the Monroe House. And we were walking through, and we knew as we were coming up the steps to go in, and we were just checking it out, and because he had access to it, and I was like, "Oh, there's a bat in here." So we thought it was in the hallway, so we walked through the entire building, and as we're coming back, there was a couple swooping down, and I'm like, "Oh, gotta go." So, me and Bob, and then there was Patty, Denise, and another lady. And I'm like holding the door so they can get down to the steps. And this bat came up and pushed me in the lower part of my back. And I'm like moving them ladies, like, get the hell out. I said, on recorder, I was like, it touched my back. It touched my back. It was pushing me out, like, get out of here.
Patty,
Sorry,
you would have loved Australia. I was outside after a ghost tour one time, and I'd been there for probably 4 years, and it was probably 1 o'clock in the morning or so, and I hear, I thought it was a bird. I kind of looked up and thinking, what is that? And I could see bat wings like 3 feet across, like huge, monstrous bat. I'm like, is that Dracula? What is that thing? It was a flying fox, and I hadn't seen one. Those things literally had like 4-foot wingspans, or they're huge, absolutely huge.
Flying fox? I've never heard that.
Yep.
Wow.
And then after I saw the first one, then I saw them dead hanging off of power lines after that. But that is a big bat. Big bat.
You're not a kidding.
Now,
That right there, I would have had a heart attack.
It was
Me
big.
too. Now, is it Australia that has bird-eating spiders, or is that might be like Singapore or something?
I think
Okay,
it's more.
Afghanistan.
I'm sure they probably have everything there tries to kill you, so it doesn't matter what it eats; it'll try to eat you too. I got
That's
trouble
ugly.
with frillneck lizard, and snakes chase you, and spiders, and yeah,
And the spiders are big.
they're huge.
Yeah.
They've got huntsmen big as your hand, and they're big, brown, hairy. Ugh, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. If I was in an abandoned building, they're like, yeah, free reign, go ahead and investigate. And I saw that, guess what? He won. I'm walking away from that hallway. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm out.
you go on down there.
I don't care what's
I'm not.
I'm out.
No, thank you.
Well, speaking of things that creep people out, you have an interesting collection that
I
might
do have,
creep people out.
Yes, she does too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a few interesting things for sure.
Yeah. So, share with our listeners what are some of your interesting collectibles?
Well, I've got probably the most active thing. I've got a kind of a little display case with some haunted items and kind of human remains and things like that. I've got a last rites kit that was from the 1800s that was supposed to have been taken out of a wall of a Catholic church as it was being demolished. And I'm not sure exactly what kind of documentation they had at that point, but they said it had been used in an exorcism. Whether it has or hasn't, I don't know. But that seems to be the focus of that. I have a lot of activity in my home because I think it's coming from there. I've got that. I've got probably my best thing is a mummified. I've got a mummified human arm. I've got, of course, skull, and I usually take something organic from my favorite places that I investigate, or it may be a brick or stone. I've got a brick from Corpsewood Manor, which was a building that these guys kind of built like a castle out in the woods, didn't have electricity or anything. And make a long story short, they were shot. And I took a brick from it's in ruins now. I didn't go to somebody's house and start digging up bricks from their house. They were shot in the foyer or the outside area. So I took a brick from there. I've got some serial killer stuff. I've got some stuff from Ed Gein's house. I've got a piece of Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment building. I've got some Eileen Wuornos stuff, which I've got a piece of her last rites robe. I've got an envelope that she personally sent to Dawn, her best friend. I can't even think what I've got in there anymore. Okay, John, where are you? You know better than me. I can't even remember what I got in there anymore. I've got a portable embalming kit. I've got an 1800s child's viewing coffin.
We got to come down next year because I want to see your stuff.
You need to come down for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely going to come down.
Well, you said the white sand, and I'm like, are they coming down? Yeah. But no, you're going further south from me.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to make a trip down there a few days to see you. He said here.
There he is.
Yeah. Well, there's been some activity in the spare room. See?
So there's a whole list of things.
I can't even think about it right now. I don't even know. Peter.
Oh, yeah, I see him right there.
There he is.
I took our haunted road trip. We went to a whole bunch of places a couple of years ago, probably 3 years ago now. And he went everywhere with us. We went to Moundsville and Eastern State Penitentiary and Gettysburg and Lizzie Borden and went up there and all the way back down through into St. Augustine.
Look at Bob. Do you have anything from the tribe that killed?
No, but I've got a serial killer spoon.
There you go, serial killer. I don't think I would use that.
Well, it's not actual. It just says serial killer on it. It's not an actual.
Oh, okay. Now I get you. I'm a little late to the party.
Something from the Amityville?
Yes, Amityville house.
Oh, the Amityville. How could I forget that? Oh my gosh. I've got
from the Conjuring house?
Nothing from the Conjuring house. The Amityville. I've got a piece of wallpaper, and actually John's got that's a lamp that came out of the house after the murders.
Hi, Leah.
Now, the things from these kind of notorious people or locations, they're from like auctions, or
she's got a connection.
I got a guy.
I need a guy. Yeah,
I can hook you up with my guy.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, if you want something, if he can get me a mummified human arm, he can get you pretty much just about anything.
Okay, well, I just want to send him a phone number or an address.
No, I need to get a hold of him for sure.
I'll send you his
yeah, please do, because I'm so into that stuff.
Well, and I don't trust just anybody, and I know whatever I get from him is authentic. Sometimes it's not gotten the most ethical way, but it is authentic.
See there? He even said it himself. In a
Super
dark
deals in the dark alley. That's right. He does wear his trench coat and opens it up occasionally, but
streaking.
Watches over here, and
right.
You walk by him and you come back and you're like, "Hey, are you the guy?" And he goes, "It depends."
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Judy said you were the guy.
Are you a cop?
well, I will say now you're about the only reason I'll set foot in Florida. So,
Well,
yeah, we're definitely wanting to come down and see what I told. That's actually on my list of things to do next year is to go down and see you, have a good time.
Yeah,
Just go sightseeing, sit back, couple drinks, dinner, whatever.
For sure.
Yeah,
and my house is haunted, so I mean, there's that.
that works. I think I reached out to you when I was in St. Augustine for work, but that was just a little too far for the short time frame that I had.
Yeah, it's like St. Augustine's about, I think, 6 hours or something from here. It's kind of far. Florida's wide and long, and I'm way over here, and that's way over on the other side. But I go once a year.
Did you get any damage from the hurricane? Because I knew you were on that side.
No, actually, we got lucky. We skirted both of those, Helene and Milton. So we were lucky. And in fact, with Milton, it didn't even rain. So,
really?
Knock on wood. Because there's one bridge.
That's in Key West, Robert the dog.
Key West, yeah.
Yeah. In a little museum.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, St. Augustine's one of my favorites.
I've been there once. It is a cool place. I'd like to go back. How far away is that from you?
About 6 hours. It's not a day trip, but it's a weekend trip for sure.
Yeah, it's a great weekend trip though, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. I tend to boring, but Castillo de Marco is probably one of my favorite places. It's got a really good story, and it's definitely got some stuff going on there.
Judy, what we're going to do soon on the show is let me bring this up.
Hey, Kitty.
Say hi, Duchess.
Hi, Duchess. Oh, you told me not to say hi, Duchess.
Either one.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
No, I'm bringing it up right now.
Oh.
I'm going to start trying out new things. That's
new, all right.
Yeah, candy corn Dr. Pepper.
I will set an appointment with a dentist before you have that.
So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to go down. We got a place called Jungle Gyms, and in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I can probably find some of this stuff or try like different countries, things like that. And then also, we're getting yuck. Yes, Leah, that is for real. There's another one here. I want you to see this one. This one, I want to try this one as well.
It's a
Just
secret.
to give it a shot.
Oh,
way.
Be real. Surely that's not real.
I'm going to find out.
Cheese milk on it. Ugh.
Yeah,
the horror.
But yeah, I think what we're going to start doing is I want to find something like a snack and a soda, and Patty and I are going to start trying this stuff and give everybody's give our opinion.
You're going to start trying this stuff.
Yeah, she's not going to.
But
I think it'll be worth it. Real quick though, since you're on here, I am working on something new, and I will be releasing it once we get back from Aruba.
Jealous.
It is Ghostlight. Don't be lost in the dark. I've been sharing this a few times as a tease.
Mm-hmm.
and I can't wait to share more when it's all done.
Well, when's it going to be done?
I will say before Thanksgiving.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah, I think people will enjoy it. It just came to me like, oh, okay, yeah, why not?
See, just like everybody else, you just tease me and leave. It's okay. Don't worry.
Well, you know, when I sent the link to the show to Judy, she's like, "Is this just audio?" I said, "No, it's video too." She goes, "Got to put a shirt on."
I did.
Too much fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised Lee's kept his secret this long because he's usually not very good at that.
I know,
So
but
proud
I
of
am. I'm gonna keep it until it's released.
Yep.
you.
Good job.
So everything is written here on a piece of paper.
Let's see that paper.
Let's see it.
Now it's just got to be put together. Oh, and I will share this. My portal box, I've actually came up with something different to it. So stay tuned for that as well. Here, Taryn's here. Hello, you beautiful people. Hello, Taryn.
Hello, friend.
Hello, Taryn. I know Taryn was talking to me. It's okay.
No, to all of us. It's mainly to you ladies.
You know.
Yeah, not to me, but to you ladies. She loves Gettysburg, by the way. Hello, Duchess.
Cool.
I had a question for you that I like to ask.
Mhm.
Okay. Out of all the equipment, what would be the first piece of equipment you would take on an investigation? And then what would be the least piece of equipment you would take?
My favorite is always going to be the digital recorder. EVP is my favorite by far. There's so many things that can set off EMF. The last piece of equipment, and I hate to say it, I'm sorry, Ghost Stop, but I don't like the Envoy Ghost Box. It's not my favorite.
I've heard that. I've heard that as well, and I love Ghost Stop.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not saying anything bad about them. All my stuff is from there, but
yeah,
that's not my favorite for sure.
Now, I did get hooked on, and I will share, I did get hooked on a Sony recorder from Sean Austin.
Mhm.
We were investigating Jim Jones' Boyhood Church in Lynn, Indiana with him and Bob and Denise. And he had a Sony. I got to pull it out here. I don't remember the actual model number, but you guys can find it on eBay. It is basically like the Panasonic DR60.
Mm-hmm.
It is the ICD ST25. And this little bad boy is amazing. And for $100, I got that. And I got the other one, it's his sister. It's the ST10, does the same thing. The lady sold them to me for $100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she's not into paranormal. I found her on eBay. And she goes, yeah, I'll give them to you for $100. She had them for $140. And I'm like, is that a piece? And she goes, no, that's for both. Okay.
Yeah, you got a deal.
Yeah, so, and I haven't used the 10, but I did use the 25, and it was phenomenal. Jim does real time, like I said. He was going, dude, play that again. We were at the, where were we? Just this past weekend. I can't remember where I was.
Oh my God. I can't remember what I had for lunch. You want me to go back to the weekend.
We were at the Perry Unity, and then we went to Asher Walton House.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jim goes, my God, and something came to Jim. It scared him to death because he was across the hall. That was another bloopers moment. We're all in the master bedroom of Asher Walton's room. He's in the room where there's two little twin beds. And he said he heard a knock because there's a door that goes into the front room there on that side of the hall. And he heard a knock on the outside of the door. And he came flying in there because Patty and Megan actually was a lady that was with us. They heard it. And as they were walking to the door to leave that room, Jim comes in. He's taking them out. He goes, "Oh, my God." So we had cameras set up. So watching him and the blooper was crazy. Yeah, you definitely want to get that, Leah. Oh, wait. Sean Austin does have a new app, and I used it here, and it has blown me away. You know, I'm not big into really a lot of apps, but this one is a little different. And yeah, definitely something to check out. It was $14.99 is what I paid for it, but it's well worth it because I picked up a girl in our room, and what's creepy is she gave me her full name, and she told me she's from Middletown, Ohio. A lot of people know Poasttown School's in Middletown. That's the town right next to us. And I'm like, well, where are we? And it said Trenton, where we are. And I'm about shit. And I'm about through my phone. I'm like, okay. She said she's in the corner of my room. So our daughter made what is that thing you call it? The crochet, the hang thing?
It's not crochet. It's some other like yarn craft, but it's a hanging, like a wall hanging thing. I forget.
And I said, so is there something above you? And with no doubt, she goes, yes, it's moving. And I looked over and the damn thing was barely, I'm like, okay.
Yes, Stacy. Yeah, Stacy, that's it. It's macrame. You're right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And here, see, the ladies are coming in with it. That's it. And I'm thinking like a dream catcher or something, like a portal for this little girl to go in. But it was really trippy. I mean, the responses you get, and I had it in airplane mode because that's the first thing I do is I go to airplane mode for these apps. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it was, and it's an interesting app. And so I do have it now. It's called SPI. You can find it if you have him as a friend, just go to his page. I can share the link on mine too. He's a hippie. So is our daughter.
So what do you have coming up, Judy? What cool things are you getting into?
Yep, that's what I was getting ready to ask her.
I can't tell you.
But I like secrets.
Well, tell me about Ghostlight, and then I'll tell you.
I knew there was a catch.
Always a catch. For sure.
And I'm about to say something like Chevy Chase in the movie Vacation. You got plenty of that at home, Patty. So yeah. You got plenty of meat at home.
There's no meat in this?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Too much fun.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to have Judy come back on. And we're going to come down. We just need to plan a time to come down and see her. And,
you need to.
I definitely want it. It's on our list because I was like, okay, I know we had to save for Aruba and, PTO and all of that stuff. But yeah, definitely next year we'll come down and explore your area, explore your hood.
I'll take you to the Pensacola Lighthouse.
There we go.
Man.
I'll do that. I'll go wherever. Yes, yep. There you go. That's a clue. They're ghosts and they have lights.
They are. That is correct.
That's right. And you know what? There's somewhere else I would like to go to if I go out west just to see it. Is Zach Bagans Museum. I would really like to go through that just to see.
I've been there. Yeah, it's really cool.
Is it cool? Yeah, I mean, for being a collector and stuff like that, and hearing stories of what he has in there, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah,
and I know how people think about him, and I'm like, well, technically that's how I investigate, but not, everything's dark, but we got to go full bore if we're going to try to get answers.
Right.
But yeah, I do. I want to go to Vegas and see it. And for some reason, I was talking about this with someone at work, and on my Facebook, hey, you want to get away to Vegas? $99. It was a Hilton thing. And I'm like, yeah, sit in a thing for 90 minutes. No, I'm good.
That was a lot of fun. And it takes a while to get through. It's not a quick thing. And got the serial killer obsession, and he does have a pot from Ed Gein's barn.
Yes, he does.
And so I saw that, and Kevorkian's van, and a bunch of stuff.
Also, cool. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
Roger, I want to see what we can find over there when Patty and I explore around the towns, see what we can find, take some photos and stuff. I don't think I'm going to take any ghost equipment because I can only imagine him open my suitcase. What is this?
Right.
Put that back, sir.
Oh.
You don't know about those? Only at Hustler.
You're on sale.
There you go. Yeah. There we go. So, Judy, where can people find you if they have any questions?
Probably the best place now. I've taken my website down because I've gotten a lot with work, and I've had it down for a little bit. So Facebook's probably the best place to find us. You can message or post. Of course, it's open, so you can post on there if you wanted to.
There you go, guys. You get in touch with her. She'll help you out. She's been doing this for a very, very long time.
Very old. Brown.
We neglected to even really ask about the team, so I apologize for that. Now that it's late.
No, you have time. Feel free.
Yeah. Well, so how many make up your team?
Well, the core is really 3 people, and really John and I do a lot of stuff together by ourselves. I'd like a small team because I feel like it's a better experience.
Yeah.
So he's definitely the tech guy. He's got everything you could possibly imagine. We've investigated with just about everything there is, except for the ghost light. But we're going to investigate with that.
Okay.
I'm assuming it goes on investigations. I'm going to pull it out.
Well, you'll see.
Yeah.
You will see. I will tag you. I will tag you to make sure you see it.
You better.
I will.
Get me all worked up now.
Yep. I've got a few people. They're said to me about, so what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I prefer kind of a smaller team. Well, many people probably know I tend to be kind of a little on the shy side. So I do better in smaller groups.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like a smaller team, people that I can trust.
Right.
You kind of get to know each other's idiosyncrasies, and I think a lot of times we kind of play off each other at the same time. So
for sure,
like that too.
And it's good to have people who are good. We don't get excited. I think I've been scared that at one time that I can remember. I'm sure there might have been other times, but it's good to have people that aren't excitable. Something happens, and instead of jumping up and running away, you kind of trying to figure it out. And there's not many people like that. Most people will get up and run away.
Oh, absolutely. Then they're like, that's what you're here for.
Right.
Maybe what Startle does, maybe it's just a way of it to start expressing what you're asking. But we're out. Oh, but then, on the other side, you have that. Okay, I know you gave me a direct answer. If you can do it one more time, and after 20 times, I'm like, okay, let's go. We've already
do this. Yeah, we do that. I think we all do that. It's like, okay, well, you did it once. Let's do it another 33 times.
Because it makes it worse.
You're here. Yeah.
What do we want it to get our face and go, boo?
Yep. I mean, when you hear direct responses, I like that doing the Estes sessions as well. I've had pretty good luck with those, depending on who you're with. We did one at, we were at, where were we? Old South Pittsburgh Hospital up in Tennessee.
That's where I want to go. We need to get a good group of people and go do some places, meet up.
Probably do both. Harriman's good too. Harriman, I actually kind of like Harriman a little bit better than I liked Old South Pittsburgh.
Now, is that right? They're not far from each other?
No.
Is that the penitentiary there?
No.
Old hospital.
Yeah, hospitals.
Yeah, they're hospitals. Okay. I thought
Yeah.
I was thinking, what's that penitentiary in
Brushy
Tennessee?
Mountain.
Right.
Yes, I want to check that one out.
Yeah. It's kind of small. It's got a couple of outbuildings and stuff, but it's not the actual where the cells actually are is not. It's not huge, so it's very. I mean, Joe's gonna echo anyway, but that one's
Absolutely.
It's pretty small, but it's cool. It's cool. If you haven't been, definitely see it.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. But Judy, we won't keep you too much longer. I appreciate you coming on and sharing who you are and what you do, and finally get to talk to you a little bit here. And definitely we'll come out and see you next year. What's the best time? Like summer?
This is Florida. You can come anytime. It's
I
always
know, because it's going to be hot if we go, say August.
August is going to be stinking hot. So, but I mean, it's Florida. If you're prepared, it's okay.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, like here, like Bob says, Berkeley County, South Pittsburgh, and some battlefields in the middle. See, boom.
Yeah.
He's already got a trip planned right there.
I guess so. Well, come on.
Well, thanks for coming on, Judy, and you have a good evening. We really appreciate you chiming in with us.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
See you soon.
See ya.
Later.
See ya.
Guys, it's been great. I hope everybody enjoyed tonight. And anything else you want to share?
Not me. No. Nothing I can think of at the moment.
Okay. Well, guys, we will be Saturday, like we said earlier. We will be in Dayton from 2 to 6. We hope to see you. And then we're off to Paradise for the next week. And we'll be back. And next guest, we have, like I said, we have George Kellogg will be on with us, an author. And he reached out and he would like to come on. So we're heck yeah. So we'll have him coming on next. So that'll be on the 12th. So guys, have a great Tuesday night and a great week. And we will see you when we get back.
Thank you, guys.